Who met first? How was the linked up? And when was it?
So it was our first year at university.
First week at
It
university.
was the very, very beginning of university, yeah. We were going to a Christian university, and it was just a mutual friend introduced us. We sort of hit it off right away. But then so we sort of dated all throughout university, which was 4 years in America of getting to know each
So
other.
what was your first impression? These are things I'm gonna ask. What was your first impression? Pizza.
First impression. Liz was very cute and Liz was very outgoing. And because it was the first week of uni, nobody knew each other anyway, so it was a good chance to hang out without any first impressions.
You're just trying to make loads of friends in your first week of uni, aren't you? Just...
Liz was also a very good listener. That was actually a pretty big deal at the beginning. Yeah, she was very good at asking good questions and listening and actually kind of wanting to know what I was thinking and feeling and kind of about my past.
Is there any change? You met first time and now you're married couple. Any change in this?
I think it probably changed a lot.
I think both of us have, yeah. Hopefully for the better. No, I think so next week is our 10-year anniversary for being married. And we've sort of been it's a big milestone, right? Reflecting on how we've, I think, grown a lot, and I think part of what I'm really grateful for in our relationship is I feel like we've grown in a lot of the same direction. Like, we have definitely changed, and I think we've made each other better people, but I think I've been very encouraged to sort of look back on who we were 10 years ago and to look at ourselves now and be like, we have a good thing.
10 years looks really long now, isn't it? You see,
forever.
especially in Hollywood and Americans, not everybody, most of the stars, and you see that they're married today and they're going to divorce yesterday.
Yeah.
And most of the people, because of those kind of reasons, they don't want to marry anymore. So forget it. I don't need that. I'm happy as I am. And maybe they are, honestly, maybe they are. They have some also breaking down in their marriages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
I got married last 22 years now.
Hey, that's quite a milestone as well.
And I'm amazed, honestly.
Yeah.
I keep pinching myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't say the same level, that's, honestly, I keep thinking, wow, I would have expected more than that.
Yeah.
So, I hope there's nothing comes in the corner. That's the best wish I can
That's a
have.
big deal. Although I think if you've made it this long, I think one of the big differences is a lot of people these days don't know how to have good relationships. So like a lot of marriages break down very quickly after 3 years, 5 years, because nobody's showing them how to talk to each other and listen to each other, and they don't have enough people around them that are showing them what a healthy marriage looks like.
What do you think is the secret of the success of your marriage? What do you think?
Be kind of interested now that you're married twice as long as
I
we
know,
are.
we should
I'd be
get advice
interested
from
to hear
you. Definitely.
I mean, listening is a very big part of it. Like, there's a sort of mutual respect we have for each other that, yeah. It always matters to pay attention to what the other person wants and what the other person thinks. And even when we argue or disagree about things, we try to do it in ways that show that we care about the other person. Sometimes it's really easy when we disagree to want to just kind of get defensive and take care of yourself and fight for what you want. And that can be really hurtful to the other person. But I think a relationship will last a lot longer if you can learn to disagree in a way that still respects each other. And that still reminds each other that you're partners. You're not opponents.
Yeah.
This is something I was talking with a lot of the teenagers I do youth work with. Because a couple of them have, whether or not they're meant to have boyfriends, but a couple of them are dating, and the teenagers were saying, this boy and I had this big fight, and I was like, just sort of talk, okay, so then what happened? And we were sort of saying, I was trying to seed in there the idea that, you're going to have conflict in a relationship, right? It's not possible to be married 10, 20 years and not argue about anything. So I think one of the skills that you have to really practice in your marriage is how do you fight well? Because you will disagree, and how can you disagree if people say, well, so, it took us a while in the beginning to be like, okay, maybe this is getting really heated, like maybe we need to step away from this and come back to it, or like, We've learned that we can't both be cranky at the same time. It's either his day to be cranky or my day to be cranky, but if we're both cranky, like, that doesn't work. And so we've learned sort of what the warning signs are, if you will, to say, okay, like, we need to take a breath and step back from that, because we know from experience, if we don't, that's going to blow up in our faces. And so I think learning, we do this sort of in some of the teams we lead, but one of the things we talk about is having conflict styles. And there's like a little quiz you can take to sort of be like, well, when you get in a fight with somebody, because you will, because you're human, are you a bit more like a turtle, you just want to hide? Or are you a bit more like a shark, you just want to attack? Or are you a bit like a teddy bear, you just want to make peace with everybody and oh, it's all fine? And it sounds a bit silly, but just sort of knowing like, oh, okay, well, if my partner is always going to attack when they're in a fight and I'm always going to hide, we're not going to get anywhere. And so we need to find a way to meet in the middle about how we're going to have conflict constructively rather than destructively. But it took us a while to figure that out for and what worked with us. So, yeah.
I think the same as me. I worked it out. I couldn't work it out before. So certain things you've been living with your partner for 20 years, a long time. So you're going to find out the warning signs.
Yeah.
What makes you angry or what makes that person angry.
Yeah.
So I came to know actually quite late that my wife actually, she speaks loudly and she won't finish the sentence. She will just say it in her face. And I've told her that, and I realized actually that's normal for her. That's how she's grown up. So when she does that, I lay back and say, I just give you, then I laugh it off and move on.
Yeah.
And after that, that's the best way to deal with it. So she knows I'm moving away because I don't want to argue.
Yeah.
Because it's no way you're going to argue and get peace. No way. So they know, like my kids, I've got 3 boys. So then, oh, then what's happening? What do you keep laughing for? She's 20. Oh,
Technology, isn't it? Technology.
Hey, there you go.
We start in a couple of minutes.
Yes. I think the other side to that, which is interesting, so I was thinking about the conflict styles thing. I just want to put mine in, yeah, thanks. Is there's this book, which is also now a website called What's Your Love Language? And I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's sort of the idea that different people give and receive love in different ways. And so this psychologist has come up with 5 different sort of categories. And one of them is giving gifts, another one is spending time with someone, another one is encouraging words. I think there's acts of service and physical touch. And he's saying, you know, like probably one of those means more to you as a gesture of love than some other ones. So even if, say, if somebody gives you a gift, you might feel really loved. That person may or may not really care about, but they know, oh, if I buy her this thing, she's... But another person might be like, I don't really care about your gifts. I just want you to hang out with me. Let's just go for a walk. You don't need to buy me anything. And so if you and your partner haven't figured out, oh, okay, if I am trying to show that I love this person, is that going to be received as love? You know, do we just need to spend some time physically and cuddle, or is this actually I need to tell you in words? And so we've sort of revisited that, actually. I remember about 5 years in, we sort of looked at each other and we were like, let's talk about our love languages again, because I feel like actually some of the ways you might be trying to tell me that you love me aren't really getting through. And so we sort of sat down and looked at the list again, and we said, actually, like maybe that's changed a little bit. And so, okay, we're going to make a real effort. For us, it was spending some more quality time together. And if we're going to do that, then, you know, put the phones away, put the computer, you know, if it's going to be real time together. And like, I've never been a gift person. So I was like, don't go out and spend lots of money on me. I'd rather have your words or your time. And that was a really helpful tool for us in just trying to say, okay, like, I want to make sure if I'm trying to tell you that I love you, that you're hearing that, right? And so I thought it was just a really interesting concept, and I think it's been really helpful for us as we're thinking about our relationship.
That's amazing to know. Just learn that from you guys. It's more like how you see the last 10 years back and say, wow, we need to change it a bit. We had so much, then it's always going to be up and down, that's normal.
Right.
And then let's go back to that and the target level again.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Really, this is something I've learned today, honestly. Thank you, guys.
I hope we always keep learning. I mean, I think
You have to keep going back and checking on things.
Yeah, I think you don't want to assume, right? Oh, just because we've been doing this 20 years, like we've got it all sorted out, we're never gonna have any more problems
No,
ever.
I think
Right.
you're right.
Yeah.
Once you relax in your relationship, that means
Mhm.
something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Can't get lazy.
You can't. I mean, you gotta keep it
Yeah.
up with that person.
Yeah.
Emotion is very important. And,
Yeah.
wow.
Mm.
I'll show my wife. So they're working out.
Now looking at the 5 love languages, I feel like it's been a really helpful.
Usually we do all those things when we are dating.
Yeah, see, and this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
And people assume.
That's where it starts, but it's gotta keep
Right.
going.
So somehow, somewhere we
Yeah.
get, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I know everything about you now, as opposed to actually
Yeah.
saying, well, you know, like even for us moving to London, I think. So
Mhm.
that was about the 5-year point in our marriage. That was a
Mhm.
big shift, you know, or even I think just moving house in the same city can bring up all kinds of things. Or, but you know, there's going to be points where you're like, oh, this is a real different season for us. Maybe we should, you know, make sure that we're on the same page.
But even if there's not a big change, you have to keep dating. Even after you're married, you have to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
dating.
Yeah, you're right. How about, like your religion? I mean, you're religious yourself, and that is myself. So we're a bit different than the normal.
Shall we-
There's no rules.
So we can continue this after.
Yeah.
This is very exciting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll start. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, let me know when to.
Yes.